Let's go make a movie.
There is a certain renegade charm associated with Indiana's independent filmmaking community.
People like me that are just rebels.
And here at the first ever Indie Film Con held at IU, gaining momentum, like a film reel being rolled down a hill.
It's hilarious. No, they think it's criminal.
Call it a snowball instead, because yeah, we do want it to build up not only the momentum, but also the size of the event.
The possibilities now of getting your work out there and creating your own story is so wonderfully fortunate.
It's a great place to be and a time to be an independent filmmaker.
There was more opportunity for me to be able to make the films that I wanted to make here in Indiana.
People are finding the resources or bringing in the resources, developing new resources to create their films.
But the film industry worldwide is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Even the teeniest chunk of that would be a boon to the state's coffers, not to mention its image. Let's face it, movie making beats retail on the impressive scale. So how can the bar be raised?
What would be great for Indiana is if the state becomes welcoming and hospitable for independent filmmakers to continue their independent filmmaking and for studio projects to be able to come in and get the job done that they need to get done.
There's an advertising axiom that when you want to build something up, you focus on people, product, and promotion. And that's where independents like Kate come in.
As the independent film industry grows and those people gain more experience and grow as technicians and grips and all of the things that it takes to make a film, you then can bring in the larger productions from a Warner Brothers or Universal Studios and be able to crew those films.
People say, well, why should we fly in a crew? That's going to cost us time and money. We'll pick up these guys, they can do the job.
If you're going to have 7 big productions, you're going to have at least 12 different full production staff. I would love to see that happen, but we need to probably be a little bit more organized to get that as a reality.
You look at Pennsylvania as a case in point. They were only able to support maybe 1 large feature film at a given time, and now they've got crew that can do 3 or 4 deep. And what you have is you have a win-win situation where you grow your smaller market and at the same time your smaller market becomes more viable.
But it's like sports. Having skilled athletes is no good if they have little access to equipment and nowhere to play. When it comes to the film parallel, Indiana hasn't even started.
We don't have the infrastructure that we absolutely need yet.
Having a camera house that is actually in the state. A lot of camera rentals come out of Chicago or they come out of Cincinnati.
We have lots of outdoor spaces. We have lots of locations. We could duplicate almost any location there is, but we don't have just a studio.
Green screen stages, stages for work, places that can actually be rent out so we can make larger sets.
If I won that big lottery a couple weeks ago, I would be building a film studio right now somewhere in this state. If we would give what we give to sports into the film industry, it would be every bit as large of an industry, if not bigger.
So let's keep the sports analogy. On the average, a Super Bowl brings in about $360 million. Last year, North Carolina studios equaled that amount. 3 years ago, Georgia's motion picture industry topped it 4 times over. And these are boons coming every year.
The diversity of employment in filmmaking is great, from accountants to musicians, to lighting people, to sound people. You have a real mix there of diversity and interests that are extremely important to a thing so complex as filmmaking.
You know, for every film that gets made, they have to buy things at hardware stores. They have to, you know, hit the hospitality industry, hotels, food, all those things. So it's not just people making movies that are the economic issue here.
Now, would Hollywood use an Indiana studio if it was built? We'll look to the Muscatatuck Urban Training Center. Designed as a training facility for emergency responders, it has mock-ups of a derailed train and other disasters. Space which has been used by out-of-state film crews with expansive vision but limited budgets.
I said, if you had this space, if you found it in LA, how much would it cost a day? They said over $10,000 a day. Needless to say, we're nowhere near that.
But it's very risky to be I will put my money where my mouth is and build a huge sound stage and hope that people will come when there isn't an incentive.
A film tax incentive so that we can attract the bigger business.
We're the only state in this region that has no incentive. Just like, you know, General Motors would not locate someplace where they didn't have some kind of an incentive to do business there. Why would anybody?
Last on the list is promotion, perhaps for now the most difficult puzzle piece of all.
I know the talent is there, I know the hunger is there. It's just a matter of somebody noticing.
Make all airplanes stop in Indianapolis. That's part of the flight plan. No, I don't know. I really don't. Just raising the profile, I guess, with more productions.
The one thing that I've noticed about Indiana and about the Midwest is that we don't tend to promote ourselves and market ourselves and let the world know what we're doing.
How do I change that? What I've talked to about some other people is the idea of the Indiana voice. It's going to take Indiana filmmakers taking their experiences from Indiana and making Indiana films. But it's going to require that lightning in a bottle hit.
The question is, what would that project be?
To quote a line from Citizen Kane, that Uber film might turn out to be a very simple thing. After all, nothing in Rocky demanded that the movie be set in Philadelphia. What it required to be an Oscar winner was a story. And independent filmmakers in Indiana are nothing if not superb storytellers.
We're on the cusp. We really are. Years ago, North Carolina would never have been thought of as a film community. They got people to notice them. We can do the same thing very easily, especially here in Indiana. We're very close to stepping over that threshold where we are known as a player.